I switch here, it is working fine. Which makes no sense.
Every crush and every burn, every time the tables turn. Because of you, I learned the miracle.
Yeah, so here I have audio. I got monitor too. So here it's working. I switch to here. There we go. Because I had it turned off. There we go. We are good to go. Now I don't need to have that on my phone. Where do I have an echo? Oh, there it is. Now I gotta go over here. Oh, I see. Close that. So how you doing, Norma? Staying out of trouble? Or are you getting in more trouble? You had to reach. What? Yeah, more time to watch streams. So that sucks. It sucks that you had to quit or retire. How's the cancer going along? Is it getting any better? Yeah, I kind of figured at some point the doctor's going to tell you that. Not very cool. So I have to look up each of these parts on this little tiny part here. Like really small. I don't think you can see it very well. I have to look it up and figure out where it goes. Not very fun. But yeah, I guess it's more relaxed time, I guess, for your body can heal. Is it getting any better, or is it just still getting pretty still in the early stages? Don't really know yet. Where is this? Like, I can't find this part. It's not listed. Why do I have a part that's not on the list? That's not cool. Alright, we'll just put that in there and move on to the next part. Alright, that one is on the list. Put the window. Alright, this little guy is C499, which goes right there. There's only one of them. Of course, you get the music, and I don't. I can't hear anything. It's awfully quiet in here. I hear nothing. I'm gonna have to hook up some headphones and so I can hear. Glasses. I have to take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. Go figure. Yeah, some people can't sit. This is probably a very boring thing to watch without having some music. So I play some music so for people who can't just sit here and stare at me. Hopefully we can get some people talking and then chatting it up in the chat room, and then that way listen to some music and chit chat and watch me break this. Hopefully I won't break this. Camera on here. I gotta take this little tiny part, solder it on here ever so carefully. Ta-da! On to the next one. I'm gonna post a link real quick. On to the next part. Grab one out of the bag. Ooh, this one's got a bunch of parts. A bunch of caps. This one got a bunch. 0.33 microfarad. These are all on the bottom. But those are not the right one. Ah! Figured it out. So, the one I couldn't find earlier is on the bottom of the board. It got all these parts on the bottom here. The B-side. Yeah, not quite the B-side, but yeah, it could be the B-side. One goes here. Very fine. So Norm, you get any new pinball machines? It's the same ones. Or do you have to sell some? I just made my payment on my Rick and Morty. I was supposed to have it here for Free Play Florida, but obviously Free Play Florida didn't happen this year, so I went ahead and told them to hold off on shipping it until it is in the normal queue. I didn't want to jump anybody in line. Ooh, a Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I think Led Zeppelin's a good game. I like Aerosmith as well. Aerosmith is a good game. I gotta be very picky on which games I get, because I don't have a lot of room anymore. Apparently I got too many games in my house. That iron's hot, smells like chicken. One. As they say, when you completely out of room, you just gotta get a bigger house. means you gotta move. That's more of a pain in the butt. And these things are smaller than a grain of sand or a grain of rice. Probably hard for you to see on the camera. Well, you can hope for the best. So I think if everything goes good, you might be in the cards. You might be able to get one. Maybe maybe Marshall can loan you a Led Zeppelin or something. I'm sure someone would. That's not going down very well. Yeah. That wasn't too good. Yeah, how far are you from them? Oh, that's not far. A half hour. I didn't think you were that far down there, but eh. I'm about 20 minutes from Marshall. But I pretty much got all the games I want. I haven't really seen any new games that I really want. The only game that so far I wanted in the last year was Rick and Morty. Luckily, I was able to get number 469. So, and then I just paid for it. So, hopefully should have in about a month. Mine's, I think, Classics is, he just paid for his about a week ago, so, but I think he waited until it was the due date. I just paid to get it over with. Ooh, that was a little crooked. Ooh, what's this one floating over here? Ruh-roh. I got an extra part laying here. Probably not a good idea. Must have fell out of the bag. Shoot these up. One at a time. It's like building a puzzle. Except you're wielding a hot iron. I wish the documentation was a little bit easier to manage. You got to go to this website, and you got to like scroll around on a monitor screen that doesn't really fit. I guess it was designed for some big monitor or something, but I can't. It's really hard for me to navigate. He didn't give me there's not like a, it's not like a part number. Like, so these all have part numbers, C27274. So these are all part numbers, but there's no list telling you that part number C274 is this part. I haven't been able to find it, so it's like really, it uses part locator. You can look up each part, and then it will tell me where it is on the board. And I hope that I install them all and I don't miss any. So I got to do 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, I'm counting 12 over here. Nope. 3, 13. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a soldering iron, and I'm going to put just a dab of solder where I think they all need to go. I got to do this all by memory. It's just a little dab of solder. It's a little tiny dab. Doesn't require a lot. The tricky one is down here, which is this guy right here. So then, there's one that was lonely. We grab it. Stick it in place. And then now I need to grab some more. I'm just going to slowly peel these off. I know I need 12. There's 3. There's 6. And 6 more. So that's 12. So it's 12. One's already installed. That's 13. That leaves me with 6. I ordered... how many? I ordered 26, and I have 6 left. So that means I've installed 20 on this side of the board. It's exactly what it's saying. It needs to be on this side of 20. So this is it for this side. These other 6 go on the other side of the board. So then I'll put these down and I'll flip it over. So you grab this little guy with the tweezers, and then you heat the solder up that you put down, and you set it in place. Now, you take the tweezers, put it on the center of the part, give it a little heat up, and then it does that, flips out and spins around, and then you got to recenter it. Luckily, he made these pads. The guy that built this board made these pads large enough so that you can easily get in here. If these parts were bigger, then it would be very hard to get in here and solder these in place. I could use a hot air gun, but it's not really needed. I find hot air guns are only really needed to remove parts, not so much to install parts. And even a high pitch part doesn't even, like I'll show you on the other side. There's a CPU on the other side. Can easily be installed again with just a simple soldering iron. Pinball dude just sent me a Stern DSP board out of AC/DC that had a DSP failure on the CPU board, and they had me replace the DSP. I had no way of testing it because when I put it on my bench, it reports that it's not in the U.S. Apparently, there's some kind of region lock that detects that it's not being powered up inside the game. I mean, I could have probably done a little research and figured out where the signal going into the board to bypass that. I figured it was not worth my time. It was a simple replace the part, no warranty required. They supplied the part. So yeah, Stern's been doing that with their SAM. They did that with their SAM boards. They put protection so you can't take a game from Europe and send it to US or use a US game in Europe. It's to prevent because I guess the pricing's different, or to prevent VAT tax, not paying VAT tax. Same goes with like the old movies. They had the movies where the movies were region coded locked. They didn't want the... They want to make sure the respectable countries got their credit for their money. So you got any plans this weekend? Other side. Like this chip here. It still could be soldered by hand. Actually, I'm going to grab that one part. I couldn't figure out where it went. This guy. I'm going to put that on here while I'm at it. There's 6 of those left. Just glad I didn't order any. No, I got. Tomorrow I have. I'm doing. I'm going to go kayaking in the morning. And then I might. Then I'm going to come back over here and come home and probably. I got a welder. I might work on getting the welder set up. And after I get the welder set up, I might try some welding. And after that, alright, this part goes up here. So after that, I might go up to, and then just chill out of the house. And then tomorrow night, a friend of mine is part of the, she's going to be part of a DJ thing that's going on Twitch called the Global Break Fest, which is currently going on now, but she goes on tomorrow night, so I'm going to help moderate the stream. So they're basically rating channels to channel on Twitch all weekend long. It's 48 hours of kind of the music you hear right now. It's just a bunch of DJs. DJs can't really go out and work. They've all kind of jumped on the Twitch, so they're all doing their DJ stuff on the Twitch, and everyone's still in lockdown, which, believe it or not, from what I've learned over the last month, is a lot of people are still restricted and are stuck at home. They can't do anything. Apparently, for whatever reason, America can do anything they want, pretty much. So, hopefully we can get that improved on, and more of the world can get back out and do stuff. Amazed how many countries are still in full lockdown. Alright, that baggie's empty. That baggie's empty. This one I got 6 left to do, and that's on the A side. Get back to the button. Somehow. Rub this to get a mark on here. Oh. It'll be easier when I get to these parts. All these regular parts, like these screw hole parts, those just slide in. These surface mount ones are just the tricky part, and there's a whole bag full of them. So. And then Sunday I have CrossFit in the morning. CrossFit in the morning, and then my friend does some streaming on Sunday as well. So again, moderation duties. I don't know what. Oh, we got a Free Play Florida board meeting, and then Sunday, and then we have another. Yeah, lock my mouse. Yeah, I pretty much always have a full weekend. Unfortunately, I'd like to go do things, but I keep myself pretty busy. Oh wow, the board is actually labeled with what part number it is. It's really fine print. Unfortunately, I can't read it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and I have 6 left. So. This is the first time I actually ordered parts for a kit. I ordered exactly the right amount of parts to use. Normally I like to order extra parts, but I figured this time would probably be a good idea to order the right amount of parts. I don't think I'll ever need one of these for anything. quickly tacking these down. Then I'll come back and finish them up. Leon came over last weekend, helped him cut a bottom of the cabinet for a Judge Dredd he has. Picked up a Judge Dredd and it had no at the bottom, fell out of it, and he's doing a full restore on it and he needed a new bottom cut, so I cut him a new bottom on the CNC. So quieter music, louder mic. Alright, so down a little bit and bring that up a little bit. Alright, tell me how that sounds. I can't really hear it, so I don't have a monitor hooked up. So is that better? I got 3 viewers, not sure who's out there, who's lurking. Who's lurking? Who's a lurking? Nobody I'm aware of. So if you're in chat, other than Pinball and Cancer, and want to say hello, say hello. Yeah, I'm a scary person. I scare myself in the morning. All right, 3 more empty bags. All right, let's pull another bag out. Ah, it's a bag of 1 part. 1 part. 1 part. Let me guess. Oh, I gotta fix this mouse. The monitors are backwards. 39 PF, right? 39 PF. Where are you hiding? Oh, where are you hiding? C497. I'm gonna go right there. Yeah, these are all actually capacitors, and I wish I could zoom in and show you, but you can clearly see when they're connected or not. They're with my super blind man glasses, I can. It's nice to put these 3x spectacles on. I don't need them to see, but if I put them on, it makes everything so much bigger. It's probably not a good thing to wear them because it messes up your eyes, but it's either that or wear one of those head things that have the big fancy head gasket, or the fold down those jeweler magnifying things. Those things just don't work. I have one and it just got in my way. It was very annoying. It was not fun. I got some Qbert boards I need to build too, but those are all through hole. But the board's twice as big as this. It's like this big. I got a stack of 8 of them. I'm not sure when I'm going to build those. Haven't quite decided. I don't know what this is. This is a trimmer. Yep, I know where the trimmer goes. The trimmer goes somewhere right around here somewhere. I really don't need to install this just yet. Trimmer pot for something. Where's the trimmer pot go? This is various. 22 to 47? No. Alright, this guy goes here. 3 to 10 PF. So this one's a little bit trickier because the solder pads are actually underneath it. So it's going to be a little on the trickier side to install. It is bigger. So it goes, so if you can see, you can't really see, but the pads are underneath it, and it goes right there. So what I'm going to have to do is figure out a way. Thinking I can just put that on there like that. Yeah. So I'll have to heat up the solder on one side, put a pad just like I did. And then take this part, grab it, heat the pad up, and then just slide that in there. And then come around on the other side. Go. Much easier than I thought. This board's a wreck. Yeah, it's missing all its parts. Of course it's a wreck. You should see the board that I'm replacing. So it goes in, I have the Amiga 3000. It has one of these boards that's fully populated, but there's a battery right here. And as you know, in these old electronics, the batteries like to leak. So it had destroyed this whole area of the board. Luckily, I think the chips are in good condition. Hopefully. So the goal will be to be able to salvage all these custom larger chips out of the other board and put them in here. $1,000 PF. Oh, these two go right next to each other, right here. That makes that easy. One here, one there. Just nice leaded solder in my mouth. This guy. And grab this guy. And take this. There. There. Back on the other side. There we go. On to the next. Hello. Who's this? Day Laughter. How are you, sir? Welcome to the Ham Fest, or Hammyland. Molek, hey. How's it going, man? It's a interesting name. So I got Pinball and Cancer in the chat room with you. She lives in South Florida. She's a pinball player. She runs the classic pinball tournament at the show every year. She was diagnosed with cancer last year, so she's been streaming online. And she recently had to, well, you can chat with her right there in chat. And you can watch me and I will talk. If you have questions for me, I will be happy to answer them. You can listen to some of the music in the background so it's not completely boring as Get Up. And it's not Among Us, so you don't have to lie. So, got all that going for you. Uh, 220 PF. Is 22 microfarad? No. So this is horrible. So I have a part, I have one part, 22, and it's labeled 220 PF, but the part locator doesn't have a 220 PF part. So I gotta go onto the chart thingy here, and I gotta convert it to something else. See if I can figure out what it is. So it could be also a 0.22 nanofarad, which is probably what it is on the part locator. All right, let me check the other side of the board because there's two tops and a bottom. And 220 PF is located on the bottom side of the board somewhere. So let me see if I can figure out where this is hiding at. It's hiding on the bottom side in the middle. So we take this guy out of the way. So this is all the surface mount stuff that I'm currently working on. The RAM slots are to the left. There's parts on both sides, so I have to flip the board over, top and bottom. This is this random part sitting right here. Goes right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do this. I take L soldering iron. I'm just going to put a little blob of solder on the board on one side, like that, just a little tiny blob. Put the soldering iron there because I don't want it to turn off. And then I'm going to go in here and grab this part ever so carefully. I mean, they conveniently put it in this piece of cardboard for me, but you know. I'm going to take this little tiny part, put it right there. So I'm going to grab the part with the tweezers, and then I'm going to heat the solder ball up, set that in there like that, and I put the soldering iron on top of it, do a quick heat up. That's going to set it against the board, and then I'm going to come over to the side, hit it with the soldering iron, and then come back hit the side with a little bit more solder, and there we go, installed. Flip the board back over. Put the empty bag over there and grab out another bag. Another one-parter. Like, why couldn't they have designed this to use all the same size capacitor? It's like, show me. Oh, it's double bag too, so it's in case I don't lose it. 10 microfarad. Oh, this is a tantalum or a ceramic capacitor, so not on the bottom side, so I gotta flip over to the top. Boop. And we're gonna go to capacitors and 10 microfarad tantalum. Because there's one of these. Where is that one? There it is. One capacitor is actually right here. So this one little tiny tantalum capacitor goes right there. And it actually says tantalum. Is it tantalum? Tantalum. So the difference between a tantalum capacitor and a non-tantalum, So you have different types of capacitors. You have tantalum capacitors, you have electrolytic capacitors, and then you have ceramic capacitors, and then you have MLC capacitors, multi-layer something or other. So the difference is an electrolytic capacitor is basically a capacitor with an electrolytic, like a car battery. They usually like to leak over age. And then you have a tantalum, which is a different chemistry altogether. But so generally speaking, you can use a tantalum in replacement of an electrolytic. But the downfall of a tantalum capacitor is the equivalent resistance, electrical resistance, is different from an electrolytic. So when you look at a power, the same thing goes with the power supply. Like some people like, oh, I'll just replace them all with tantalums. I'm like, that's not the best thing to do because they're not really the same type of capacitor, but you can get away with it. But for power supplies, you really can't. You got to use electrolytics. And I see people where they take a power supply that has 3 or 4 1,000 farad capacitors in a row, and they're like, oh, I'll just replace that with a larger capacitor and just put one in. Well, what you're doing is you're actually breaking the design of the circuit. If you were to take 2 or 3 1 farad capacitors and put them together, the equivalent resistance of that is significantly less than just one big capacitor of the same value. And this has a bar on it. So this is got a polarity. So there's a little bar. There's a one side of this has a line, which I'm not too sure. Hopefully I'm putting this in right. Otherwise it will explode when I turn the power on. I'm pretty sure that is the proper direction. It's not like a electro. So let's see here. Yeah, hopefully this is the right way. I'm assuming the white bar and the bar on the part is exactly what we need, which is how it needs to go. All right. This one's got 4. You know what? I'm going to skip this, and I'm going to go to one that has more. This one. I got 9 in this one. Easier. My goal is to get through this whole bag tonight. Well, there's two sides of the board, but the parts locator. So if you Google Amiga, there's a website that you can put this board in, and you look up the part numbers, and it tells you where the parts go on the board. So this part, there's only one of these parts, and it's only on this side of the board. So the cool thing is I ordered exactly the right amount of parts the board needs. So when I put this part in the part locator, it will tell me how many parts, how many chives that go on this side and how many go on the other side. Like earlier I had 26, 21 on one side, 6 went on this side. And luckily, after I placed all the parts, I had them left over. If I ordered extras like I used to do on my other kits, it probably would have ended in a really bad, because then I would have extra parts left over, and I'm like, oh, where do these go? Yeah, this board's already been flipped over. Yeah, this side, and then there's this side. Yeah, I already flipped it over. I scuffed the board when I was doing something with it, but looks like I can just wipe that off. But yeah, so after I get all these surface mount stuff done, and then I can go to all the through hole stuff, which will be super easy. And most of these parts will actually be actually soldered in. I'm not going to socket them. There's a bunch of RAM that goes here. I'll probably socket the RAM. These sockets will get socketed. These are actually SIM sockets. So this board originally came with chips that you plugged in and out. So this has been redesigned to have surface mount capacitors instead of through hole. And then it has these, they've upgraded to use 8 meg DIMMs, which only works with 8 meg DIMMs. I can't put any other size DIMM in here. It has to be an 8 meg DIMM. Alright, so 0.01 microfarads. 0.01. Again, doesn't say there's any in here. So what I gotta do is I gotta go to my phone. I gotta pipe in 0.01 microfarad calculator and see what other labeling it is. See what that's in PF. So 0.01 microfarad is the same as saying 10 nanofarads or 10,000 PF. So let's see if any of those values are on this list. 10 nanofarad is on the list. It says there's a total of 3 on this side. I'm just going to check the other side of the board. The other board is 6. I have a total of 9. So 6 on the bottom. And I got to repick the part again. What size did I say that was? 10 nanofarad. Three on, so it's 9. So 6 on the bottom, 3 on top, 9. So, yep, 9. So definitely the right part. So, generally speaking, if you are to socket a part, you're going to need to replace, the potential of the part will be damaged or needs to be replaced. So, for instance, this is an EEPROM. This can be reprogrammed. So if you need to update the programming, you could pull it off, put another one on. Generally, general TTL chips aren't going to need to be replaced. I'll put them in here and they'll pretty much probably never fail unless I put them in bad. There's a bunch of custom chips on this board. So this chip, 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 this are all custom chips. And they're PLCs. They're not easy to solder and they are known to fail. So you have a socket so you can easily remove it and put it in. It's the same thing you could say about a connector. Why would you put a connector on the board when you can just solder the wires to the board? It's to easily remove it. But if you know the part isn't probably ever going to fail, like, why wouldn't we socket all the capacitors? Because they're not going to probably never fail. That they don't make sockets for capacitors. All right. Now I got to figure out where these go. So one goes next to U4000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Just going to put the drop of solder on here so I know. It's one. And one goes over here where this hole is. Right here. And one goes next to the crystal right here. So that's 3 on this side, and on the other side gets 6. Yeah, basically, yeah. Like there's 2 riser slots here, some riser slots here. So it basically allows you to remove the chip. So if you were prototyping something and you had a breadboard, it's basically a breadboard, but you just solder the socket into the board, and then if you need to replace the chip, like an Arduino. So if you made a little board that had an Arduino in it, but you're gonna reprogram that Arduino, but you didn't want to put a programming socket on that board, you can just remove the chip, put it in a regular Arduino thing, reprogram it, and then put it back in. So if you had, and then like, if you had, like, if a programmable chip is, any kind of programmable chip, you're really going to put that inside a socket, because then you take the chip out of the socket and you can put it inside a programmer, and then with the programmer you can reprogram the chip. If it's a reprogrammable chip, you can also, and then put the chip back in. Otherwise, if you unsolder the chip and solder the chip back in, unsolder the chip, eventually, after a while, you're going to ruin the socket, you're going to ruin the board, you're going to ruin the chip, and it's just going to become an utter mess. So if it's something, now, if you ready to go to production, you know you're never going to do any more firmware changes, you know your firmware's good, you could solder the part in place, save a couple of pennies on, ouch, that's going to smell like chicken. You could save some money on production if you were making 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000 boards. It will be cheaper for you in the long run to remove the socket, because if you're making 10,000 items and you got to go back and pull every chip and reprogram it, that's a lot of work. You might as well just scrap the whole project line and redo it again. So they used to put, so a lot of EEPROMs, like the software for a motherboard or a computer, is mostly in a socket. But nowadays they have what's called flash chips, which then can be reprogrammed in circuit, which then you don't need to worry about removing the chip. Where was that other one? I didn't. I put solder in the wrong spot. I caught myself. I almost put this part in the wrong spot. I was almost going to put there, it actually goes here. Yep. Almost goofed up. He caught it on stream. Mr. Hammy almost messed up. That would have been a disaster, because then I would have had to figure out, like when I got to that part, I'd be like, there's already a part there. Where does this part supposed to go? And I got to remove that part, and then I got to measure it. That would have been a disaster. Mr. Henley did mention reprogramming the chip on an Arduino board in class. Yep. Yeah, so a good example is that is I have a microprocessor emulator that the guy designed it, and he wrote really bodgy firmware, and I had to reprogram it. But the way he wrote the firmware, it didn't let me just put it in Arduino and reprogram it. So I had to reprogram it in a program. I had to first rewrite the firmware using a regular Arduino. When I got the firmware the way I liked it, then it worked, and I breadboarded it. Then I had to take and rewrite the firmware, because the way it worked in the board, it used a reset pin as an I/O pin. So when you go to program it with using the in-circuit programming port, you used a reset pin as a reset pin and not an I/O pin. So I had to basically use a different programmer to wipe the bootloader off the EEPROM and just put my code on it and delete the EEPROM, because I couldn't have the bootloader wait. I couldn't wait to chip the Arduino. So typically an Arduino has a block of code in the beginning of it called the bootloader. So the bootloader on most Arduinos that you buy basically emulate an STK 500. And the STK 500 is the development platform that Atmel used back in the day for developing chips. So someone had rewritten the bootloader and put it that emulated that platform inside the chip. So when that chip boots up, if it sees one pin, don't get me started on bootloaders. If the one pin is set, it will then load the bootloader code. But the problem is that takes sometimes it could take, I don't know what it is on the Arduino, but if you're running at a lower clock cycle, it could take long to run, and I needed that code to run instantly. So I had to wipe the bootloader, plus the reset pin was affecting the bootloader. We all mess up. You don't see any analog in-person safety classes with very hands on the one. Yeah. So what's the deal on the drill press, man? So somewhere apparently someone wants to donate a drill press. I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe you have some idea. So it'd be cool if we can figure out a way we can get the dice cam to be like remotely controlled via Slack. So like if you go in chat and you type like if you go in here and type, so I can do commands in here. I can do that, but of course it's all jammed up. I can't type because I can't see the keyboard. But if you can type commands in there and it does things. Like if you type exclamation point D&D, it'll drop you the link to my D&D character. But my idea is to come up with a way you can just do exclamation roll and then have it roll the dice. Yeah, see, there you go. So the idea is to make a command that you can hit roll, and then it would roll the dice, and then if we can figure out how to take your AI, tie it in there, and then type back in chat what it rolled and show a picture of the roll. I think that would be pretty cool. And then just have that run 24/7. So people can go online and roll a dice, like mechanical dice throwing. Because there's a bunch of Twitch feeds that have robots that you can control by chat. You can tell the robot to go forward, you can go backwards, you go left, and you can right. And there's even webcams you can control via Twitch. So people have set up webcams, like outside webcams that are in the forest, and you can control it from chat on Twitch. And then basically people... Alright, where's the other one? One there, and one over here. This plate, there it is. Alright, 1, 2, where was the third one? Okay, the third one, I goofed up. I soldered both sides of the... Supposed to solder one side at a time and then go back and do the other side. So now I gotta flip the board over to the B side. And then I gotta do these 6. So how's everything in Moloch land? Yeah. Well, I have everything required to do bits, but I don't have the average number of viewers. So hopefully I can get more average viewers up. I got 4 viewers right now, which is probably the most analog amount of viewers I've had. And then we were doing Among Us. We had people randomly just watching us. Like Alex would have it open on his phone in the other room, and then Don would have his wife watching in the bedroom. I had random people watching, but I'm like that's not going to work, because in the end it's going to average back down again. So I figured I got the screen looking a little better. Got some music playing in the background that it's Twitch friendly, not DMCA. So I gotta sort this camera out here. I think this camera is working good, the up top camera, but this camera here I need to figure out a way I can make it so it tracks more of my face and not, like, I'm down here when I'm doing this. You can still see the work, but you can see my forehead or my bald spot. I'm gonna be like Mole, I can just shave it off. Alright, on to the other side of the board. The B side. Alright, these are, again, what are these supposed to be here? Oh, you watched it again? I really need to sit down and I need to watch the Clone Wars. I was really into it. I got maybe 3 seasons into it. Like the 3rd season, then I kind of got sidetracked. And I never finished watching it. I don't know. I can't remember the last part I saw on it, so I'm going to have to rewatch it. And then when I saw, when I watched Sudoku, what was her name? Sudoku, when she showed up in Mandalorian, I'm like, I got to rewatch the Clone Wars. She's probably my most favorite character, and I would like to learn more about her history. I guess I need to watch Rebel as well. All right, where is this part? C102. 100 nanofarad. This is not a 100 nanofarad part. Whew. Almost. Yeah, Oshuka. There we go. Yeah. Thanks, Buttbot. I was wondering when Buttbot was going to get in here and say something. Yeah, she's probably one of my favorite characters. You'll laugh when I tell you who my other favorite character is. Jar Jar Binks. I like Jar Jar. You can go ahead and close the stream, throw things at the monitor. I know everyone hates Jar Jar, but I like Jar Jar's comedic stance. Not comedic stance, but I just like the way he moves. And they kind of brought that unsubscribed. Yeah, yeah. So Star Trek Discovery, the captain for the last season had the same kind of arm movement as Jar Jar Binks. Now, I will say I don't like Jar Jar Binks' voice. I think they really gave him the wrong voice, and I wish he was a little smarter, but I like the character as he's drawn. I don't like the character as he is. I think he's a good character. I think I wish he was just a little bit smarter. And the Discovery's great. I mean, have you watched much of Discovery yet, Norma? I don't think Mullock has watched. Daylafter has not watched any of Discovery. I don't think he's into Star Trek. So because you're just watching. Okay, I will not mention anything of Discovery. I love it. I think it's a great Star Trek show. But if you go in the village, Jack will say I'm an idiot. So, and my television reviews are not to be trusted, apparently. Neither are my food reviews, but apparently everyone else loves my food, so I can't be totally wrong. I mean, I'm still friends with Mullock. Have you watched any of the new Star Trek stuff, like Picard or the Lower Decks? So the Lower Decks is a cartoon comedy. It is not a Star Trek TV show. Yeah, there is another... what the hell? There is another... It's weird. Lollies is a censored word. There is another Lollies that opened up over here. The Lollies on Hillsborough, or Memorial, that's over where Roundup used to be, I haven't been too crazy about it. Yeah, so so if you watched any of the original series or any of the TNG series, the Next Generation, or the original series, or any of the Star Trek movies, the Lower Decks fits right in, because it's basically a comedy satire cartoon of those series, which of course most diehard Star Trek fans will not appreciate, but I appreciate good comedy. So I think it adds a nice humor to it. I think Gene probably would not appreciate that. You can say Lolly's now. I added it loud words. The Lolly's place is close to Cali Street Tacos for us. Do you mean California Street? Oh, Cali Street Tacos. Yeah. So to me, Lolly's is the best tacos. Me and Alex love that place. There's another taco place that I like. It's called Extreme Tacos. They used to be in Soho, Tampa, Soho, but they moved back up off of Fletcher. And I haven't been up there. They supposedly moved back up in September. They have the best chorizo. I just absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, I haven't. Oh, and I haven't really been out. Okay, California. Yeah, I haven't really been out to eat late. Last time I went out to eat, I went to. It's like Fresh Kitchen, but it's a Hawaiian themed. So right here by the house, I have a place called Mahana Bresh, which is a complete rip of Fresh Kitchen's name, and it is basically the same as Fresh Kitchen, but it has a Hawaiian flavor to it, and it's actually really, really good. I enjoyed it, so maybe I'll go back over there. Yeah, I just haven't. I've been eating at home a lot. I've been cooking a lot at the house. I still need to get my pellet grill going. I'm looking for parts that have a lot, like this one here. That way I can do a bunch and not just a couple pieces at a time. With the spike in the COVID numbers, I just wanted to stay home. And a friend of mine worked at a local restaurant, and apparently 18 people there got COVID, including one of them passed away. Wasn't really happy with that because I came in close contact with her, and she had it. But it's been 4 weeks now, 5 weeks now, thankfully. But like I've already said several times, I'm pretty sure I had it back in February of last year because my coworker had lost her sense of smell and taste and was basically bedridden for a week and a half. And then when I went out to eat with her the day that she hit her, that she was out, like the next day she was out for a week. I had lunch with her, and then a couple of days later, I got sick. Ran a fever, upset stomach, didn't feel good for 2-3 days, but then it went away. And then I've had that same occurrence once or twice over the last year. And each time I've met someone that supposedly had it, that tested positive, I had that same feeling. They got that same feeling, and then it went away. So, but I've been tested. It's always come back negative. I should get tested for the antibodies. Which is weird because normally I usually get sick every single year. Like I get the sinus, like cold, like it's just every year I always get sick. It drives me nuts. Like after Free Play Florida, about a week after Free Play Florida, I'm miserable for a week. I get whatever cold, I get every funk. And then this 2020 was the first year that I actually didn't get any kind of funk that really stuck me in bed. Jack, number 6 on the village, his whole family got it. They all tested positive. It affected Jack for about a good month. He says he was not able to move. A friend of mine up in Hernando County went to a ham fest, and he got it. He went to a ham fest, and he just showed up, opened up his car to sell stuff, and they all got it. Yeah, so the sinus thing does not help. The humidity does not help with my sinuses. I actually have, I'm pretty sure I have a cleft palate, or the cartilage that's in my Yeah, I know. You got to be careful. I mean, you got a already degraded immune system, and so you're stay home and don't avoid everybody. That's why I'm surprised to see you come out and to events, which you don't have to do that to support the event. You can stay home. We know that your condition doesn't allow you to get out and do anything. Again, part number is in 0.22 microfarads, and the part locator is not. Must convert. Paul Henley could probably do this in the back of his head. Like, oh, that's a blah, 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 blah. So there's 11 on this side. So 11 on the A side. So I'm going to write this down so I make sure 11 on this side. I'm going to do the B side first. 17 on the other side. 17 and 11 equals 28. So I'm going to flip it over and put 17 down on this side first. So 17 of these go on this side of the board. Yeah, you know what? He's awesome. He's smart. But he needs to get out of that house. His wife is going to kill him. Or he's going to kill his wife. I don't. Is he homeschooling his child, or is his child going to school? You know? Oh my God, these are all over the place. All right, I'm just gonna have to put. These are all over this board. So one here, one here, one here. One here, one here, one over here, yeah, she works, his wife works from home too. So they were both in the same area upstairs. And then he moved downstairs because he couldn't work up there with her anymore. He's like, I can't do it. That's why he's setting this new thing up downstairs. And he's like, that way I don't have to haul all this stuff upstairs. And he's taking over that little area downstairs. Because he used to be upstairs, and the bed, you could see the bed behind him where his daughter would always jump it down. And right in front of him was his wife's desk, and she's a psychiatrist or something. I'm not too sure. I know she's got all kinds of plaques and stuff on the wall. But yeah, I know he's the stay-at-home parent. But he's I did one of his reviews of one of his kits online. That was actually a pretty fun kit. The Christmas tree. Alright, I think I got all these. Oh, no! There's a bunch more. One, two. Alright, so there should be 17 over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Can't find number 17. So what is the problem? What are you using for a buck converter? Is it like a 12 volt to 5 volt wall wart adapter? Yeah, but what are you using? So what do you got? You got like a 12 volt wall wart, and you got to go through a converter to drop it down to 5 volts for the Pi Zero? Or is it the change the voltage from Pi Zero to the camera? Or I don't understand why you're using a buck converter. And I got a buck converter on my 3D printer to convert the 24 volts from the power supply down to 5 volts for the USB power going into the Pi for Octoprint. All right, have a good night, Norma. Take care. Seventeen pieces of rice. So what are you using the buck converter for? So are you converting the 5 volts to 12 volts? Okay. So you're running the LED strips off the 12 volt side, and then you're dropping it down to 5 volts for the Pi. So what's the issue? It's just the Pi is rebooting or locking up or not working? Okay, so what you want to do is on the output of the buck converter. I would install some capacitors, probably like a 1000 microfarad 12 volt capacitor, or 10 volt or 6.3 volt capacitor. Most likely the LEDs are causing some kind of noise that's messing with the buck boost, making the audio, or making the voltage signal noisy. So if you install some capacitors on there, that'll help clean up that signal, then hopefully fixes a lockup that doesn't do that. Otherwise, it's a really bad buck converter and it's got a lot of noise on it. Probably wouldn't harm to put a couple of a capacitor before the buck boost as well, to help clean up the noise, the voltage going into any noise being driven from the noise being generated by the RGB lighting. Alright, got one left. Where does he go? Where'd you go? And there'd you go, up there. Now I gotta go in. Yeah, I mean, I got some. We probably have some with the space as well. I would just put like a 1000 or a 2200 before it, and then like a 1000 after it, just to help clear any noise up. The other option would be to install an inductor, but then you're getting now you're adding even more complexity to it. You're basically building a noise filter, but you need to figure out what noise you're trying to filter out. The converter I got on my 3D printer works pretty good, but it's a little black box I bought off of Amazon. But it's designed to take in pretty good wide voltage range. You could use something like one of these. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, wait the camera show up. One of these things, which takes a random voltage in and a voltage out. Not too sure. It could be a low budget buck converter. It's just a small DC switching power supply. Basically, it takes the 12 volts and then drives a small transformer and derives you a smaller voltage. You could probably get away with using... Yeah, it could be the cable. I mean, that's possible. You can always try it. Never harms. I bought, when I did my 3D printer, I bought one of those wall mount with a pie with a switch in it, and I ended up cutting the power brick off and using it on the using it on the buck boost, because I didn't want to have two wall wart and then the printer plugged in, and I was like, this is stupid. Why did I have two things plugged in the wall for one printer? Go through and make sure I got all these. Almost got all the capacitors on the bottom. Not very many left on this side. We scuffed the board though. I must have bumped it against something. Now I gotta do the other 11. I should have 11 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Alright, now we go over to the top side. Repick capacitors. Choose 220. One goes right there. I got two people viewing the stream. I don't know who the other person is. Got a lurker spying on you. It's the government. It's the gooberment. No, it's not. It's using a bot, which is nice because the bot's recording the stream for me, or the bot's counting as a viewer. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2. One here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 more. Lurker. Oh, where are you other hiders hiding? Oh, way up there. There they are. They're all up there. Sweet. One here. One here. 2 over here. And then 1 right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, luckily the guy that sold me this, he sold me with this. He said, I can install the CPU for you. I'm like, cool. So he installed the CPU, but then he installed this socket as well. I don't even know how you install this socket. I'm like, I would have been like, how do you install that? And I couldn't even get this socket. It's like not even available anymore. So I'm kind of happy that these 2 parts were actually installed for me. That would have just been a nightmare. Alrighty. You got any plans this weekend? I don't know if I asked you. I think I asked Norma. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to order this board through PCBWay. But I had to order 5 of them. It was $400 for 5 of them. And I was like, I don't need 5 of these. I only need 1. So I messaged the guy. He's like, yeah, I got 1 black one left. And I'm like, you want a CPU on it? I'm like, sure. So he sold me the board shipped for 140 bucks. With the processor already installed. So I was like, yeah, good deal. And then he shipped it the way he shipped it, I almost cringed when I got it. I was like, oh, I hope this thing still works. It literally was not. It was literally sandwiched between 2 pieces of cardboard in a bag. Oh, that sounds like good. Nice pool time. Yeah, I might go over to my brother's someday. I don't know when. He's got a pool. But I haven't really been visiting family. I got CrossFit on Sunday. And then Saturday I got Saturday I'm going, I can't get these ones. Saturday I'm going. Saturday is I'm going kayaking in the morning. I'm gonna do some kayaking. And then Sunday's CrossFit. I couldn't get into CrossFit tonight; it was full. I put the solder blob on the wrong side. That makes this very hard. I gotta turn the board the other way. I gotta go this way. I'm not left-handed. Now I can get in here. I was hoping a couple more people from Slack would jump on and watch, but I guess no one wants to watch Bill solder stuff. It is not very enjoyable. But you have my full, undivided attention, and you can ask me any technical questions, and I will be happy to answer them. Because that's why I'm here, to help you better yourself. And to keep me from going insane. Yeah, I didn't go to CrossFit. I just stayed home. I don't really have any heavy things at the house that I can do CrossFit. My house is kind of full of arcade games, so it's kind of hard to move around. And the CrossFitting we don't do the whole tire flipping thing. That's not the CrossFit we do. It's mostly push-ups, box jumps, rowing, stuff like that. It's not the Iron Man flipping tires, marathon-y stuff, or the crazy stuff. Although I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, arcades are heavy, but they're awkward. They're very awkward. They're not like you can just lift them up and haul them around. I got some 2x4s in the garage. I could loosen two. This is the argue discussion I have with my wife. So what is the argue discussion? Oh, she does CrossFit, doesn't she? Because you built her. Oh, there, that's heavy. You move it. Isn't that what Moloch is supposed to do? Move it. That's a. Why is your D&D persona some heavy moving person? Why couldn't you have been like a fairy or something, like a light flying nimble creature? I'm just a paladin that doesn't know what he's doing half the time. Alright, I think I got all those. Oh, those are all done. Moloch's fantasy. There's a lot of parts in this bag. A lot of one-parters too. Ugh. One part. Come on. Why couldn't he? You know, it would have been really convenient if you would have so when you order parts from Mouser, you can put a parts designator on it so you know which part it is. It would have been really helpful if we would have labeled the part number on here, like, this is C43. No, it's not. This is a 20 PF, which again, we probably don't have. Oh, 20 PF, quantity 1. Sweet, where are you hiding at? Over here next to the capacitor coil, right there. Super easy installing this one. Yeah, I need to get better at my D&D character. I need to be a little bit more creative. My fantasy creative ability is not that good. Unsupervised therapy. So is that what they call it? I thought this was unsupervised therapy. Nothing about relaxing soldering a bazillion surface mount components to a circuit board one part at a time. It's very, very soothing, shall I say. Well, that's basically... No, it'd probably be a good idea for me to figure out what size part this is before I just throw the bag over there. Quantity 4. Quantity 4. Alright, 0.047. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be labeled as 0.047 on this parts designator. No, it is not. Let me check the bottom. Bottom. 147 PF. Top. Yeah. So, again, 0. 0.047 microfarad to PF. Microfarad. 0.047. That's 47 nanofarad. 47 nanofarad. There's 4 on this side. Yep, 4. And I dropped my solder on the floor. Oh. 47 nanofarads. Where are you at? Oh, this makes this easy. These all go next to Paula. Paula. Actually, chip on the board. You see the nice wall, the nice the nice crack in the wall the construction crew put into the hackerspace by the electronic workbench when they ripped out that air conditioner next door, or pulled out that freezer. Hopefully, I don't even know what the other side of that wall looks like. They busted our wall apart. I don't even want to know what the other side looks like. Maybe time for a mold check. Oh. As in like mold in the walls? Believe it or not, it was actually when I went over there the other day with when I went over there with Shaw, it was actually pretty clean. The wall, the area was. Wasn't really any issues. Now, I don't know about inside the walls. That's a different story. Discord. Ooh, you know what? I could post my link. Oh, really? Do this. Share stream. I'm just typing some stuff. That's cute. Did not take it as a URL. There we go. You heading out? Is it late for you? More like sleepy? More like need rest. $54 of these bad boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 5 more. This side gets 30 of these. If you're currently lurking and watching the stream, feel free to type in the chat box and say anything you want, ask me any questions. I don't bite. Five, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. To the side of the board, it's 30 of these. I'm just going to place these where I'm pretty sure they go. One there, one there, one there, one there. There, one there, set it all over, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. One there. One there. One there. One there. Alright. One goes there. It's blind. One there. 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 I have three more I have not identified. One, two, three. All right. One right there. Two more. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. That looks good. No, it's not. 1, 2, 3. One over here. Do 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 do. Oh, I think I found one. One, two, three, 6 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. One more. Figure out where one more goes. Alex, type. Just need to type, dude. You know, you count as a viewer. You just missed Moloch. Moloch's been talking for the last 2 hours. He just went to bed. I do not show you as a user though, so you might have to log in. So yes, I show a viewer. I show 3 viewers, but I don't know who they are. Of course, I can't type. Where is this last one go? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here. Here, here. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Right here. Actually, I got all these from Mouser. The gentleman I got this kit from actually had a Mouser bomb list, so I was able to get all the parts from Mouser. This is an Amiga 3000 rebuild. I have an Amiga 3000 computer that was donated that needs a new mainboard, so I ordered this one from a gentleman in, I think, Poland? Yeah, I think Poland. Basically, he made he spent the time to redesign this board. This is a Amiga 3000, but it uses surface mount parts for the capacitors, and it uses DIMM chips instead of plug-in chips for the RAM. So I have already placed about this many parts bags. Have to do all the surface mount stuff first. Right now I'm working on the 100.1 microfarads, which there's a total of 54 of them, 30 on this side and 24 on the other. So so my technique of doing this, I'm doing it all by hand by soldering. The technique is basically, for wherever one goes, I basically put a blob of solder from the component locator that tells me where all the parts are. And then I basically put one blob of solder that tells me that's where they are. Then I lay the parts in, so there's 30 of them here, so I'm laying the parts out where all the solder pads are. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with the soldering iron. I basically take the chip, this little capacitor, I grab it, and I basically heat the solder pad up, and I basically just put the chip in place. Then I put this down, and I hold it. I don't solder to the other end of the chip, or the capacitor. I do that on my second pass. So first I'll go through here and do these 30 of these. Individually lay each one of these out. Alex, you log in yet, man? Hey, Crunk. Chat up the chat room. Chat up the chat room. Yeah, there you go. So, my soldering iron is set to 750 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a Haku FM203 with a... Not sure what tip it is. I don't want to pull it out because it makes a really loud screeching noise, and I don't want to deafen you guys. So it basically has an alarm. I do have a hot air rework station, but it's 750, not 700, 750. But yeah, no, it's 750. It's a very temperature controlled soldering iron. A lot of your generic soldering irons that you buy that might say 750 are probably not 750. They're probably like 800 or 900 or somewhere off the scale, then not very accurate. This is a high-end soldering station. I was running my rework station too hot, and I lowered it the last time I used it, and it worked much, much better. I could hit these all with a rework station to straighten them all out, but I'm getting pretty good hand placement on them. Not really having much of an issue hand placing them. So what I'm doing now is I'm just basically putting these all in place, heating one side up, and then placing the part in the molten solder, make sure it's soldered well. And now what I'll do is when I come back and solder the other half of the capacitor, I will touch the other side and just give it a little bit of extra solder. And this is just tacking the parts in place so they don't fall off the board when I move it around. I know there's exactly 30 of these on this side of the board. I got 11 more on the other side to do, or no, 24 on the other side. The good thing is I think this side is pretty much almost done for surface mount parts, which will be nice. Oops. I don't have any extras, so I can't make these can't fly across the board. What kind of, Kate? I never heard of that. Yours might be in Celsius. If it's in Celsius, it's gonna be a different number. I think it's gonna be like 400 in Celsius. If it doesn't go up past 500, it's most likely a Celsius scale. That would be why I'm in Fahrenheit. I'm in this wonderful America where we can't believe in Celsius degrees, which is really hard because a lot of my viewers are not in America, except for that McCrunkis guy that doesn't want to talk at 371. So yeah, so you want to set it to 371, and then I use, which you asked this the other day. I'm using 6337 1.1 solder, 0.8 millimeter. It's got a part number 24-6337-880 Kester. Yeah, it's leaded. It's 63% silicone, 63 silver, 37 lead. Yeah, I don't need that non-leaded stuff. This is from the 80s, man. This stuff had lead. And you can tell by the amount of smoke coming off this, I don't need a fume extractor. It's really not that much smoke. There's actually a pretty good draft in here. There's actually an AC vent right there and a fan. Plus, it's not like I'm doing this all day long in a factory. And a lot of the smoke that you see coming off the soldering iron is actually the flux. It is not the solder, despite what people say. Alright, so I think I got them all soldered. None fell off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and solder the other half of the chips. So I'm going to basically, I got to kind of mentally count in my head. So I'm not going to look at chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Alright, so either I can't count or I missed one. And nope, I found number 30. Very good. So if I didn't count that, I would have missed this guy right here. And it probably would have got assembled and never soldered. I have not done a Amiga 1200. I actually don't have a 1200. So I have a 2 500s, a 1000, and I have a whole stack of 4000s. No, a whole stack of 2000s, and then I got a 3000. The 3000 I had battery damage. So I really didn't want to just have it go to waste. So I picked this board up, and I figured this would be a fun board project. Charles, I think his name was Charles, or what's the guy's name? Whatever. John, that's his name. John. He sold me the board, and he pre-installed the CPU, and he installed the math coprocessor socket for me, which was super convenient because this socket is not an... Yeah, Chucky, there you go. Why did I think John? I don't know, Chucky, but I think his name is John, but he goes by Chucky. He pre-installed this socket here, which made this way super easy. I don't know how this socket even installs. I was looking at that, and I'm like, I don't know how you install that. And this socket is actually not in stock at either Mouser or DigiKey. So the downfall is if you follow the assembly directions, it tells you not to install the CPU until a certain point. So I got to figure out how I can do the testing with the CPU in place. Do I just assemble it all the way up to the CPU test? But I don't really want to bother them because I know how much it is when people bother you when you make a blank board and you're not really offering technical support on them, and I don't expect him to. So he's built plenty of them. I know they work. Cool. Yeah, I don't have any 1200s. I got 2 500s and potentially another 500. If someone near me here has another 500. He's like, I got a 500 I don't need. So I did get this in the mail. For the 500. It's the Apollo Vampire 500 Plus for the 500, for one of the 500s. So I badly need a 500 case. I got one that's in decent condition, but it had a botched RetroBrite job. But I got 2 Rev 5, a PAL, and a NTSE. I got the newer Fat Agnes for them, but I can use the Fat Agneses out of the A2000s. But I mean, I have literally 9 A2000s, but no case. Some guy's like, I got all these boards, you want them? I'm like, where's the cases? Oh, I threw those away. I'm like, oh, okay, what? I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. So I was playing around with them. I can get them to boot the diagnostic ROM, and it loads the diagnostic ROM up just fine. but I cannot get them for the life of day to boot to Kickstart. It just does not boot. It gets either blue, purple. It never gets to the Kickstart, try to load a Kickstart screen. But it will put the diagram in it, boots right at the diag, says everything's perfectly fine, everything tests okay. So I'm like, I don't have any clue. So it's like I got 2 out of the 9 boards that work perfectly fine, 0 to no battery damage, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So I like, they're basically just, A2000s are basically just A500s, and I have 2 working A500s. One that's going to get an Apollo. So it's like, not sure what I'm going to do with an A2000 anyways, without a case. So I'm probably just going to throw them up on Amiga, or Amiga Bay. Amiga Bay, yeah, Amiga Bay. Someday. I don't know what they're even worth. They're even worth anything. Alright, what time is it? It's 11 o'clock. Still early. Alright, so I got 24 of these little guys to put on this board, which is exactly how many I have, or I should have. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a solder blob where these all need to go. So earlier when I was doing this, I put a solder blob next to here, and I almost put the wrong part here. I was almost going to put this capacitor over here. Luckily, I was able to catch it. What the heck was that? Alright, just had some weird sound come out of my computer behind me. Not sure what it was. Alright, man, take care. Feel free to leave your computer on so it gets me credit for a viewer. Oh, 5 viewers. Who else we got in here? Oh, hello, new follower. I did not see that come up on my screen. Hey, Retro Gamers 80. Yeah, because I'm streaming from the computer behind me, so I'm not seeing what's going on behind me. So that's, thanks for pointing that out. All right, back to marking these spots here. So we got one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Sorry if you hear my chair. I don't know if you're hearing it or not. It's making squeaky noises. Lots of squeaky noises. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. I'm just hoping the Denise and the Paula on the original donor board is in good condition. It did suffer a battery leakage, so that's gonna be a stinker if the Denise is bad, especially when it goes about trying to diagnose and test this thing if I don't have a working chip. Oh, I just soldered the wrong side. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 'Alright. Where are the other 7? Oh, where are you at? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 1, 2, 3. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 18, 19, 20, 21. I can't find the last 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be 6 in this cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 in this cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be 2 here. 1, 2. 2 here. 1, 2. 2 here. 1, 2. And 1 here. I'm counting 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Where am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 24. you're joining in, make sure you hit that follow button. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Saves me from going insane. I do not hear the music, so I'm actually not hearing it at all, which makes this even more mundane for me, more than it does for you. Any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer them. Or you can just hang out and lurk. Probably stream for about another hour or two till I get tired of streaming. I want to try to get through all the surface mount components tonight. I don't know if that's going to actually happen or not. There is a lot. And it's one at a time. It's not like I have a pick and place machine that pick and places all these for me. I do have to manually pick each one up and put it where it needs to go. You want me just to shut up and not say anything? So yeah, I'm using Chucky's part locator. It's better than having nothing because I can't find a good bomb that says like this part is this part. Apparently one doesn't exist. So it's literally just look the part up, and the worst part is like I order parts, the bag says 0.1 microfarad, but the part locator has it as 100 nanofarad, and the board says 100 nanofarad. So I have to convert the thing, make sure I have the right part, and I didn't convert it the wrong way. And then I'm looking at my part locators on another screen over here. Unfortunately, because I'm using this screen here, so I'm looking at, in front of me I actually have two monitors. There's actually another monitor over here to the left that does standard res. It's a 42 inch of this standard res, medium res, and high res. And then behind me is my streaming rig along with 4 other monitors. So I'm using this monitor that I'm looking at for Twitch so I can see everyone typing. And then I'm using, it's hooked to my laptop over here on the right, which is using for the part locator. The downfall is the part locator is located, I don't know where, but it is horribly slow on where I'm located in the US. It just does not load up very fast. And apparently it's pretty CPU intensive. So it doesn't really load up good on my older computer. But that's all the way on the other side of the room. Well, it's about 5 feet behind me. And then that just would not work because then I would be spinning around. So this is the first attempt at doing it this way. And it is kind of working out pretty good. I would recommend that. Obviously, you're probably not going to build those 1200s and stream them. I don't think Chucky even streamed them. I think he recorded it, and then he put the videos up at fast forward. So I'm gonna try to stream as much as this as possible. But I also stream other stuff like games and stuff like that, and Dungeons and Dragons. So so if you're following me, and my apologies if I'm streaming something that you don't have any desire to watch. But I used to do videos up on YouTube, like I also fix arcade games, arcade boards and stuff like that, and I used to fix them, record them, and then put them up on YouTube. But I like the interaction of talking and actually working on the stuff, but I don't like it when the person who owns the board is standing over my shoulder. Oh, does he? Yeah, I think he does recordings, but I think like when he does the parts, I think he just quickly does. I haven't watched any of the videos, but I think when he does the actual like the capacitors, he'll record doing the capacitors, but then he'll just do it real fast, like Adrian's Digital Basement. I mean, he does the video, but then he'll, like, when he goes to do soldering, or the 8-bit guy Dave Murray over in California or Texas, when he goes to do it, they'll fast forward through the actual soldering process, which yes, can be slow and tedious and mundane, but it's kind of therapeutic to be able to talk to someone while doing this. So hopefully I got one more capacitor. So where's the one more capacitor go? Where did I miss? Where did I miss? Took me a while to figure out where. These ones are tricky on this side. Get to the point now where I'm just going to put them all, just mount them on one side, and then just come back and just solder their half all at the same time. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to miss soldering half of the capacitor. I also have some arcade Qbert boards that I need to build, which are actually bigger than this, but they're not surface mount, they're all through hole. They're actually about twice as big as this, and I have 8 of those. I haven't decided if I'm going to build all 8 of them. I may only build 4 of them. I actually own a Qbert, a Mad Planets, a reactor, and a screw loose. Oh, there it is. See, I have a screw loose. It's sitting right here in front of my eyes. The Qbert's got issues. I should fix the board, but I'm not in the mood to fix the board because I actually have a ton of Qbert boards. But a guy reproduced the Qbert board, so I grabbed a bunch, and I thought it would be a fun project. It's all through hole. It's actually, I think, more parts than this one, but this has got a lot of capacitors, and obviously the Qbert's actually an 8088 running at like 4 megahertz, as opposed to this running at what, 25 megahertz or something like that. So this requires a little bit more, work. And I may come back after I'm done doing all these. I may end up hitting these all with a hot air gun. Haven't quite decided yet. I will be cleaning the board. So I left, so on the potentiometer right here for the adjusting the 555 timer right here, there is a thin piece of plastic over the top of it. It is a variable capacitor. Do not take that thin film off until you are done with the board and it is cleaned. Otherwise, when you clean the board, you can get stuff inside there and it will just ruin that part, and you end up kind of replacing that part. So if you have any variable capacitors, either A, don't install them until after the board is cleaned, because I will be giving this board a thorough cleaning after I'm done. I'll put some Kapton tape over the Motorola processor so it doesn't get any cleaner underneath it. I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner big enough to put this in. Yeah, I run a. I'm part of a group that runs in the retro arcade and pinball show in Florida, and we have a bunch. We have Scott Dayton, who runs Atari Age, and down in South Florida, he comes out and brings out usually a bunch of homebrew carts. I don't know if you're familiar who that is, but he comes out, brings a bunch of carts to sell, and we get Angry Video Game Nerd that comes out to the show. So it's a fun time. Last year we had Warren Davis come out. Actually, I think Warren Davis has come out 3 times now. We've had him come out to the show. Warren Davis is the creator of Qbert. He actually designed it. Very nice guy. I think I got all those soldered. I don't like this one. Crap. Just going all over these again. And again, I'll go over all these. I'll check all these individually when I'm done, making sure I got them all. Alright. Next part, 100 poof. Poof. 5 of them. I have 7. So before I start taking these out and try to put them, I'm gonna look at the other side of the board and see if the other 2 go on the other side. So go to the bottom, choose 100 PF. 2 go on the other side, so I'm gonna install those 2 first. And they go over here. 1 there. It says 100 though. No, 100 PF. Yeah, 100 PF. And this is 100 PF, right? Yeah. And then the other one goes over here. Here. Nope, here. So what I would like, though, is if you did this and you pick the part, it would be nice if it gave you a listing of the part numbers, which pin numbers, like which part designators you have to put these in, like on a list on the side, because then you could easily say this. Otherwise, the red dot on the board works great, but it does get a little tedious if you can't figure out where it needs to go, like on the board itself. So it goes here. Right. Looks like. And then this one guy goes over here by the keyboard input. And let's finish those 2 up. Flip the board over and do the other 5. One there. And there. Flip the board over. Open up the sheet to the other side, top. The other thing is when you flip sides, it would be nice if it had the same part number selected, the same component value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it would make it easier to Because otherwise you got to reselect the part again. Here's one. There's two at the bottom of that sip. One right here. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5 are over here. 4. And 5 is right below it. I guess I'll have some chip RAM from the old board. If someone needed to upgrade their 3000 with the chip RAM, I'll have that chip RAM available because I won't need it anymore. beads on the bottom of the board, and I don't think I have any in this bag, which means I either misordered or I misplaced the ferret beads I was already working on. Hopefully they're in the bag. Alright, let's get these ones done so I can... Alright, man, have a good one. Yeah, I'm almost done. I'll probably be here for another 20-30 minutes. A couple other viewers on. Maybe they want to have questions. If they have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, just continue to lurk. You have a good one, Retro Gamer. Stay out of trouble. I will do that. I will have a good weekend. Great. One. Top side. So for some reason, I have 2 of that part, and this board only says it needs 1. So I have to reference the bomb and figure out why it was 2 of these when there's only 1. Alright, that's it for the night, guys. I'm calling her quits. I have done all the surface mount capacitors. I gotta figure out why I seem to be missing a couple. Seem to be missing. So over here, I appear to be missing C410. Apparently I'm missing so that's it there. Everything else looks like fuses and resistors. This side, I'm missing those are resistors. Those are all resistors. I'm missing some ferrite beads. 1, 2, missing at least 2 ferrite beads. So 3 ferrite beads. I don't know what's going on there. So I gotta see if I can figure out a way to put those ferrite beads. I might have thought I had extras, I guess. Didn't realize it was the bottom side, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully I can figure out where I put the extras, if I have any extras. If not, I gotta order some more. But it's midnight. I want to call it 3.5 hours. Could probably still go. But I think I'm good to go. You all have a wonderful evening.